Bert, thanks for meeting with me.
You
We
bet.
are in the middle of going through career paths in real estate. And I'm going to ask you to switch gears a bit because we've talked to you in the past about your role as a real estate attorney. I'm going to ask you to talk about your role as a real estate broker, specifically commercial brokerage.
Okay.
You own a firm, Urban Works. And so I'm going to ask you some questions and ask you to give us some insight on the world of commercial brokerage, if you would.
Be happy to.
So let's just start out and say the perception of a commercial real estate broker, what do you think that is and the reality to what it is? Let's kind of go through that as to what it is you do.
Well, that's an interesting question because the first time I really had that addressed was as a young lawyer, because I had my senior partner say that a lot of people particularly lawyers didn't like brokers sort of meddling in the transaction or pushing a transaction. But he said a good one is worth his or her weight in gold, because they really do facilitate. And I think that's what I always try to do, as opposed to being an obstacle or an unhelpful sort of pusher of the transaction.
Right.
Because deals that are sold to someone or pushed along the way tend to not work as well as the ones that happen because they're supposed to happen, because there's real market reasons and the folks are motivated. And a broker's main job, in my opinion, is to listen to what his client needs and then help him fill that need.
How do those people come to you for your services?
Well, a lot of it's word of mouth. I've been fortunate to have a lot of contacts in the real estate world because I practiced law for a long time. But I also did some development work and worked for a corporate development company for 7 years building apartments. So I learned a lot of different aspects of what my clients do when looking for real estate. I was involved with finding sites to build apartments on. So I would go in and look at a market, be a site selector, help with zoning, those types of things. And the first people that you try to find in the market are those local brokers that know the lay of the land.
Right.
And so I learned fairly quickly who was helpful and who wasn't and why. And I try to emulate the ones that I thought added value to the process. So, my clients come to me many times through referrals from other clients. That's the best way I know how to build business, is to take it one transaction at a time and do your best, and then hopefully it will build on that. And it's a real relationship business. So we do some advertising. We use the web. We've got a website. We've using all the new tools, not new anymore, that you have to. My site sign is probably my best advertising.
Well, I teach the importance of a niche market, and I think you're probably a really good example of that. I mean, first of all, the name of your company says a lot.
Yeah.
Urban Works. And when I first knew Bert, I saw Bert as sort of, I'm going to say, an important player in the whole Bricktown effort. We happen to be in Oklahoma City, and I tell my students, you're in probably one of the best laboratories that you could probably be in to analyze and look at and watch an urban environment grow. And frankly, I'll tell you, I think that you're a big reason why that happened in this market. And when people go to Oklahoma City and they're down in that market and they want a presence in Bricktown, they're going to see your sign. And they're going to see your name, and your name's going to come up. And that's a niche that you've built for yourself in that market. Now that's mature now, and that's playing out a bit. And so it'll be now for you to go out and find a new niche market.
Really true. I appreciate you saying those nice things. Even though we're friends, I appreciate you saying it. I do think that we had an impact downtown. I think that I formed Urban Works really as an alter ego for myself in 2004. create a service business, ultimately be in the brokerage business. We've done some assisting on developers and actually getting things built. But Urban Works is an intentional name. I think of it as one word. It's not about, and it's really a sentence, because it is the notion that the urban environment does work and can work. In fact, it works more efficiently than anything else in land use. And so I try to look at sites, assembling connects them, and you are able to assemble a bigger site, for instance, and all of a sudden you've got a hard corner that's big enough for. We've done it with office sites. We've, I think, been fortunate to be on the front end of a lot of that. And now, as it's maturing, our challenge is to find other places to make that same sort of protocol work. And places like north of downtown Edmond, for instance. So, or even a downtown of a small town. Where there's gaps that need to be filled, and that's where we think that urban works.
What's your favorite part of the commercial brokerage business?
I like the competition. I like the sort of the thrill of the deal, I suppose. Brokers are sort of the last gunslingers. We're out there without a promise of a paycheck. Sometimes I wish I had a paycheck, but a steady paycheck. But there are other times when you get to the closing table and you finally accomplish something, it feels like you're getting paid for having fun, and it really is. That's the coolest part about it. I enjoy involving others. My company has a couple other brokers in it, and we're continuing to look for like-minded people that want to collaborate and to be more than just the folks that stick their signs up wherever we can stick them. I mean, we like to think we're value added, and we bring to the table some expertise beyond just the task of introducing a buyer and seller.
What's the frustrations in the commercial real estate business?
Some of the same things that make it exciting make it frustrating. I mean, loyalty of clients and the whole tenuous nature. Really, you only get paid if you have an enforceable listing agreement. And sometimes some of the most fun transactions are to represent buyers and go look for things. And every once in a time with those buyers, and they, on a whim, and someone probably innocently go out and find something on their own.
Right.
And your entire effort's wasted. So you have to. I learned after a few of those situations to kind of build a bond with the client and make them understand how it is that we get paid for what we do. And if I can't get them on the bottom line, and get them to at least look me in the eye and tell me I'm not going through anybody else to get my needs met. So that's the most challenging and sometimes frustrating. But it's a great business. It's a lot of fun, and it is helps me get up in the morning.
Good. Bert, thank you for meeting with us today.
You bet. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.